Well, hello. This is your host Eric of GMODISM, and we are back here with the Gimle battles. The tournament is finally continuing. It took some time to upgrade the Gimle to the Mark. Is it Mark 3? Not Mark 4. Yeah, I was unsure if I would count the Gimle after party iteration as the Mark 3. I did not. The after party is on the workshop too if you want to have another iteration by Captain Y, our MIA captain, that upgraded that for another tournament long ago. But whatever, we're back with the official Gimle tournament, and as said, each of the participants had in history the ability to upgrade their ships and stuff. Then the tournament and everything got delayed a little bit because of my health issues. As you'll know, that's also the time why it took so long to upgrade the Gimle Mk3, but here it is. The beautiful Gimle Mk3 has very similar configuration to the earlier iterations. It's basically a cram vessel with a pretty decent laser and a good bit of APS backing it all up. That's about what it is. It has more diff guns, more offensive diff guns also, and it has a upgraded Vigoletta Marksman rail-assisted cannon. We have Netrameira's upgraded Arqueballistas, which is the Arqueballista Indomitus. And then also our Commander Ali has helped out with doing some battle testing and fixing some armor at places, like the upgraded, well, it's somewhere, here it is, the upgraded era armor that I still need to take a look at. And that's the biggest thing that happened with Gimle Mk3 is that the cannons are now laser detonated, so they detonate around the target, making it actually make less damage generally, but making it deal more consistent damage, which I would think would be highly beneficial for anti most evasive things. Now, the Gimle is gonna meet the pizzasummoner's Cataclysm, and the Cataclysm, she is a very strong vessel. This is one of the vessels, I believe, that won against the Gimle really, the Mark 1, really fast. So this is gonna be highly scary because the Mark 3 of the Gimle has even less capabilities of shooting down incoming APS shells. The Cataclysm has a firepower of 2220, very much higher than what the Gimle has, and it's also a APS only craft. So if we look a little bit here, and you can see it kind of bobs up and down a little bit. I wonder if that is intentional evasion. Well, whatever. We have some different things here. We have so we have hash and shaped charges. We have flak for well, shooting incoming things. Oh wow, this uses flags and not even a head. Okay. And then we have some sabots here. So we have a very deeply penetrating, pretty slow sabot shell. And we also got a disruptor here to take down the Gimle's shields, which is it is shielded pretty strongly. If I remember correctly, most of the guns are squash heads / shaped charges. But yeah, I think that's kind of the main weaponry on this thing. We're just gonna take a little quicker look at it as well, so we can do a little bit of cut through here. So we have a lot of wood. Oh wow, that's not is that okay? We have a lot of alloy in the front here for float and armor. Some of the turrets are weakly armored. This is heavily armored, but this thing here is pretty weakly armored. Right, we're gonna do a little front back cut as well to take a little quick look at the cross section. And it's basically pure alloy with a little bit of metal on top. And we got some beam slopes of heavy armor. It's a pretty like decent armor here. We have generally, this is basically like a full air gap too. So it's basically Reddit armor plus a full air gap. And that's the most important thing that Reddit armor, as I call it, usually misses, which is a full air gap. Now, that doesn't matter very much against the Gimle class, but yeah. I think we should get into the battle here and see what our pizza summoner has to bring to the table. So here we are in the battle, and this is the official tournament. So this is the first layer of the brackets. Now the Gimle, thus the upgrade took a little bit time to complete. Why this battle was delayed? This was actually supposed to be the 16th battle, but we skipped some battles, and we are now at the I think we have had 29 battles or something so far in the tournament. I'm not entirely sure exactly, but this is one of the battles we skipped over because it wasn't done yet. But this is because, as said, all of the participants had in history long ago the ability to upgrade their ships during the tournament. The only ship that has not had the opportunity to be upgraded was the Gimle Mk3. Now, all of these ships won over the Gimle Mk3, but just for fun, I throw the Gimle Mk3 into the tournament as well, since the Gimle Mk3 indeed wins over the Gimle Mk1. All right, let's get this battle going. We are having a barrage here in full, jumping over the water a little bit, and as you'll recognize, the Gimle class uses a timer delay, so the first couple of seconds shots are not fired. And this is because cram cannons are very sensitive to accuracy. They have a lot of accuracy issues. Now the barrage is coming in here, and Pizza Summoner has gained a lead. Gimle really needs to... Oh, cram shells are being shot down here as well. The Gimle really needs to throw in a good lucky shots to disable those cannons. I know the cram cannons are able to disable these guns because cram cannons are basically able to disable anything if they get a lucky hit. But seems that a lot of shots are a little bit off, and now the distance is increasing, so the area detonations will be less beneficial, let's say. Gimle is down to 94%. We need to check how it's doing. Oh my, we got a lot of shells incoming here. Now the Gimle is really served with these upgraded era armor. That probably saves it from taking the first couple of blasts without completely dying. Now I may remember incorrectly, but I think Cataclysm delivered one of the fastest and most brutal results in the previous tournament. Why is... That's the reason why I'm a little bit scared of it. Right, I want to see where the Arcubalista Indomitus is shooting, so we are going to watch that in slow motion. This is the slowest game speed, straight at the turret. Wow, look at that. Look at that, straight at the turret. That's so crazy. And then we have the following up shell here coming with a hollow point, which doesn't do a lot, of course, because this thing is pretty armored. It's well set up to deal with things like hollow point. I don't know, I don't think it shot anything vital, but nevertheless fun to see. Here we have the tiny shield disablers from the Gimle class. And the Cataclysm is just spewing out shells. I think that was a decoy cram, maybe? Gimle has a lot of decoy crams as well. It's very cinematic to just watch the battle take place here. Look here, we got a couple of... Oh, bam, that was a good hit from the diff guns here. Straight aiming for the turret. Shooting one of the barrels, but is that gonna be enough to really do anything? I think maybe it will not. Well, we can jump over here. Speed up time again and slow it down just to see what's happening over here. The Heat and Hesh are targeting the turret. They are notoriously good shells for taking out turrets and such. It's basically your average turret killing shells. If your enemy is using thin turret necks, they are like the ultimate weapon to just chop off turret heads. Right, we're back to full game speed. It's gonna be best of 3 as always. Cataclysm is at 92% and the Gimle is at 87. Oh my. We have some short barrels here. Oh no. Heat and Hesh shells are really good at chopping off barrels as well. Oh my. We'll have to rely on a good bit of luck, I feel like, to be able to win this thing. And the pizzasummoner's Cataclysm is riding pretty far away. Look at that. Like, these turrets are holding up pretty well. They are not being... Oh, bam, that's a bounce off. Arqueballistas coming in. Wow, the cram shells are just not landing here. Gimle down to 79. Pizzasummoner's Cataclysm, she is at 91. Are we targeting something important? No, the laser is not targeting anything important, is it? Turrets are starting to be dug out a little bit, but we are really targeting the wrong bits. Oh my! The mortars hit something. That's not too often. The Cataclysm is being a little bit more evasive than you might realize. It's basically changing its distance pretty quickly towards the Gimle, which really counters the timed fuses in those crams pretty well. Perfectly dodging these crams too. Gimle is down to 71. Oh my. We'll need to check in on the Gimle here. Pizzasummoner's Cataclysm is still at 90%. So we just need to see if this cram shell hits. It seems that the first battle, nope, it's gonna go to Pizzasummoner, I believe. I think the Cataclysm seems to be winning this first little battle. We got a lot of damaged turrets here. I'm kind of surprised both of the Arqueballistas is alive and well here. Gimle just past the funny number Look at that. And now the heat mixture is digging into the internals. The exterior shell of the armor is gone. The protective era layer is long gone. So blocks are just being deleted as at mass for each incoming rounds here. And the Gimle basically seems to have like one arqueballista, a couple of smaller guns, and a laser left. I mean, the pack isn't very scary, so that perhaps we shouldn't count with. Well, we got 2 more battles to go before we can comment on any results. Oh, look at that. Superstructure is going down. And as Borderwise said in his video where it faces the Draki, it's indeed quite cinematic when the Gimle superstructure goes. So I have to give myself a little bit of an applause for making a battleship that's scary yet fun to battle. It's not the boring thing to battle. It's according to Borderwise at least, a satisfying target. And that's of course true for many of the participants in the Gimle tournament. And there we had that happen just as we spoke. First battle, win for Cataclysm. Cataclysm wins the first one. We have 2 more battles to go. Best of 3. Second round. Here we go. Will the Cataclysm prove as strong this time too? Or is the Gimle class Mark 3 going to revenge its previous dominator? Well, can only be seen in this battle. Oh, and it's not starting good for the Gimle class. Look at that. Pizzasummoner's Cataclysm is going for the Gimle's weak side. This is gonna be very interesting. Both the Pizzasummoner's Cataclysm, she's a very fast ship, but so is the Gimle upgraded version. It has improved speed and maneuverability. That's where some of the budget has gone. And look at that. First bout of cram shells are being just heavily intercepted. Gimle Mark 3 is going to... Oh no, they got blown up as well. It's really shooting down all the incoming cram shells, man. And that's a real big trouble for the Gimle. The Gimle is gonna have a edge at the closer distance compared to a longer distance we had a lot before. So if we keep this close distance, the Gimle has a better opportunity to actually use its weapon. Since we have a lot of diff guns, those diff guns are of course much better to hit at close range, as well as with the timed fuse fragmentation things. That is the same. The only thing that's probably not better at this distance is the mortars. Well, 91 versus 95 percentages. Ooh, that was a larger hit. I think one of the turrets has been heavily damaged. Alright, this is really interesting. Pizzasummoner's Cataclysm, she is down to 92 percentages, where Gimle class Battleship Mark 3 is at 89. Oh, and we have a lot of confetti all over the place due to the diff guns. Oh, another scary hit by the cram. We got the deflection of a mortar. Look at 88 versus 91 percentages. We have to take a little look at how the Gimle is doing. Wow, many of the cram cannons basically have no barrels left. Look at that front cram cannon, it's been targeted very heavily. And now the first bout of diff guns are perhaps already spent, but losing possibly 2 of the front cram cannon is a huge issue for the Gimle. That is where the damage lies. Look at that. Now we have increased the distance here. And at the longer distance, I mean, the Cataclysm really has a better chance to shine, I believe. The laser is not burning as hard at this distance, and the cram cannons are less likely to hit. So, the Cataclysm has really maneuvered to its, well, preferred distance, I believe. Which is bad for the Gimle, but then again, the Cataclysm, she's down to 85%, and the Gimle is at 81. And the Gimle is pretty good at fighting at low percentages, and I don't know if this is the case for the Cataclysm. So as of now, it's pretty even, I'd say. It's pretty even, because the Gimle loses health pretty fast. Alright, this is very interesting. Did we have... What happened with this gun? It seemed to have stuck somehow. Maybe it's damaged in some way and it repaired in some errorless way. Who knows? Got an arquebalista shell coming in. The Gimle is losing health fast. What's going on? What is going on? The Gimle 70? Where are you? Oh my! The Gimle lost its superstructure. That's what happened. Oh damn! That is spectacular already. We have already lost the superstructure. That brings the Cataclysm by pizzasummoner to a lead of more than 10%, which is usually the hallmark for telling about where, at what direction a battle is going. Wow. Gimle is now in the funny number. It is having a bad day. Really needs to land a good amount of those really well placed cram shells to be able to have a chance here. But it looks like the battle is going to the Cataclysm's pleasure. Well, we're still gonna hold the third battle just to see if the results would be different, even if the Gimle loses this one. It is best of 3, but we want to have 3 battles for fun, so that it's like, if you see the video is like only a minute left, when you watch the second battle, you know who's gonna win, and that's really boring. So it's more fun for everyone to have 3 battles in a best of 3, even if only 2 of them are required, if one ship indeed wins the 2 first ones. 64%, yes. Pizzasummoner Cataclysm is at 82. So the Gimle definitely performed better this time with having that time to shine with a little bit of close combat. But, well, it didn't have the opportunity to shine enough to win, I think. 63%, we are not a whole lot of percentages away from this spawning. Indeed not. It's going pretty slow though, 62%, like, what are we doing here? And that's probably because the Cataclysm is damaged, so that the damage output isn't really optimal anymore. Why? It's not dealing that very dramatic damage here. Well, battle is progressing slowly but surely. 58% and counting. And here we go, 55.4, 3, 2, 1. And there the Pizza Summoners Cataclysm is officially winning this battle. But we're gonna have the third round anyway. Looks like the Gimle did manage to damage a little bit with the mortars, because the Cataclysm ends at 81.5% health. Wow. So the Cataclysm still dominates. Big congratulations to Pizza Summoner for that. But let's have the third round and see if we get the same results. Third round, here we are. We're gonna totally hang out with the Gimle here. Ooh, nasty first little hit here, right in the face of this turret. Oh no, look at that. Oh well. I wanna see where the Arqueballista Invictus is hitting. Bam. Oh, look like that. Look at that. It's really funny with a lot of the ships that did not end up winning against the Gimle, that lost against the Gimle Mark 1. One of the ways the Gimle Mark 1 was able to kill them was that those Arqueballista always shots for blocks under the surface. And that was pretty funny because some people place their turrets on one layer of like alloy, and then the Arqueballistas could basically kill them. Them turrets, just shoot them off by shooting the under of the ship, just shooting it off, so the turret had nothing to stand on. But of course, basically all of the ships that managed to win against the Gimle Mark 1 didn't have such flaws. Probably says itself. We have a similar beginning like last time here. Looks like the... Ooh, that's a nasty hit. It looks like the defenses of the Cataclysm is not doing as well this time. Oh my. Look at that. We have some really damaged turrets this time. They are exactly the same in health, 92 point. The Gimle gained the lead. So in this battle, the Gimle class managed to get the lead. This is gonna be very interesting. Like if the Gimle managed to win this third battle, that tells us that the Gimle class and the Cataclysm, the Gimle Mark 3 and the Cataclysm, is pretty evenly matched. Very interesting. 91 versus 89 percentages at the Cataclysm. 88. But with a higher distance, it's gonna be much more likely to not die. Look at that. We have a little fire here on the barrels. Oh, bam. The mortars hitting dead on. Very interesting. 85 versus 89. It's very interesting that the flags are just not very good at taking out the crans this time. We need to see what's happening over at the Gimle, so I'm desperately trying to lock onto a shell and failing miserably. Here we go. The Gimle at 88 percentages, Cataclysm at 83. Now the Cataclysm is at a great distance again. Look at that. Yeah, this is really much more optimal distance for the Cataclysm here. Will it be able to turn this around? Well, in any case, I just want to say big thanks to all of the supporters of the GMODISM Empire. We have the governmental chancellor Super Dave and our commissioned officers in the army of GMODISM, Admiral Dragon X62, Commodore the All-Round Gamer, commanders Ali, Ben Wilkie, Cameron Dixon, Sven van der Velde, our lieutenants Anto, Gravy, Flars Dagen, Dennis Akin, Owen, Barbara Greed, Visit Veritas, Volkite, Rickwell, and Screwballs. Also, big thanks to all of our cadets, and of course, the Ecclesiarchy of GMODISM, the YouTube members, which were able to watch this video in early access, among other perks. Anyways, to all of you who support the channel, big thanks, and also big thanks to every one of you who are watching this video, and special thanks to those of you who remember to like it, the video. %, and the pizza summoner is at 79. Isn't that interesting? Where is the... Are we gonna have ships going on land? Is that what's... Oh yeah, that is what's lagging. Oh my. Oh my. It was going so well. And now the AI has realized it's gone. It realized its errors. Well, it didn't lose the lead somehow. It's still in the lead. That is crazy. And look here. 77 at the Cataclysm, and the Gimle class is at 81. Nice battle. Well, this has been a very interesting battle. We are going to see how it develops, but definitely the Gimle class Mark III had much better chances than winning than the Mark I had. I can say that. But running on ground is... Oh no, it ran... Are you... Why? Why? Why are you doing this to me? Oh, this is like less glorious. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is screenshot material though. This is screenshot material. Look at that. Look at the sad Gimle, man. Look at her. Look at her. Maybe I should make these as loading screens. Yeah, if you want to download the GMODISM Industries themed loading screens with some of our units and stuff like that, you can download them for free, and you can mix them with the game's built-in load screens. So you have a nice little mix. If you want to get them, just go to shop.gmodism.com and look at the digital section, and you'll have free downloads. You have free products, which you can basically download them, and with the instructions where to put them in the game if you want to have some AOG swag in your games, starting menus and loading screens, mixed in with the in-game ones, I should say. They don't replace it unless you want to. You can set that if you want to only see your custom things. It even gives you instructions on how to make your own loading screens as well, if that is something that may be to your interest. You should check that out. Yeah, I think since we don't really need the results for this last battle, I think I'm gonna terminate this battle like a little bit early, because it's just not very exciting to watch. The Gimle is stranded, slowly dealing damage to the Cataclysm. I don't know if the Gimle wins. I don't know, maybe the Cataclysm will turn this around eventually. But it's a slow and uninteresting battle. It shouldn't run around. Anyways, I will tell you that Commander Ali is still working on the Gimle, so there will be a Gimle class Mark IV, which in the future, whenever Commander Ali is done, I'm going to have a look at as well, perhaps add some final touches and stuff like that, and yeah. But that's gonna be a little bit more expensive, but definitely have to take a mental note of checking the AI's maneuver controls for that upgrade, because we don't want Gimle Mark IV doing something like this. And the Gimle Mark IV will not turn up in this tournament, because the Gimle Mark IV, well, it's gonna be too expensive. Also, it's probably not gonna be done in at least a couple of months. Yeah, but in any case, big thanks for watching. And I just will say that I'm gonna see you in future videos. Do check out our Relaxism channel, our GMODISM channel, and of course our main channel's other content as well, so you have something to enjoy yourself with. Well, this is your host Eric of GMODISM, and we are signing out. See you next time.